Welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Nick Newman's told to zip it on Young and the Restless. Young and the Restless spoilers show Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, makes a beeline for the palazzo and his family once he reaches Tuscany. He is shocked to learn that his parents support Victoria Newman's, Amelia Heinl, plans to go through with her wedding. And then Nick needs to do damage control on the CBS soap opera. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Nick Newman at wedding venue, sister furious. Nick Newman surprises his parents this week on Y&R and asks for their opinion on Victoria's mood. Nick's hopeful that he can repair their relationship before she walks down the aisle. His gal pal Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, tours the palazzo grounds with her ex Jack Abbott, Peter Birdman, and updates him on Nick's stance on Young and the Restless. However, she warns that troublemaker Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, is working overtime to stop the nuptials, but both think Victoria will forgive her brother Nick and let him stay. Unfortunately, Nick's irritated mom, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, disagrees. Young and the Restless spoilers indicate she argues Vicky's too stressed to deal with Nick, and Nick's increasingly annoyed father Victor Newman, Eric Braden, doesn't want trouble at the nuptials. Soon, he's shocked that both his parents are on board with the wedding. He can't believe they want a liar as a son-in-law. Both parents urge Nick Newman to let it go and get on board, or else, on The Young and the Restless next week. Victoria Newman can't forgive Nick per Y&R spoilers. Victoria joins the conversation and is unhappy to see her younger brother. Nikki asks that Victoria give Nick Newman the benefit of the doubt and listen to what he has to say. Young and the Restless scoops show Victor encourages the siblings to work it out as they leave to give them privacy. Before he can say a word, Victoria lets him know she has no intention of calling off her wedding. Nikki and hubby Victor worry that Nick can't respect Victoria's decision, especially if he learns the truth about how lying New Yorker Ashlyn Locke, Richard Berge, got his money. Victor promises the secret will never see the light of day on Young and the Restless. As they talk, Nick promises that he is not there to cause trouble. He worries about Victoria, but he'll honor the decision she has made. However, he will never trust Ashlyn. She is still livid and can't trust Nick with her confidences. However, he argues he would still like to go to the ceremony on Young and the Restless. Victoria is unable to forgive Nick Newman. She won't listen as he tries to make amends. However, she won't have him escorted out if he decides to stay. Young and the Restless spoilers then reveal she says he can stay if he wants. While it isn't what her brother wanted to hear, he chooses to attend the wedding. Is Joshua Morrow leaving Young and the Restless? Nick Newman exits. Young and the Restless spoilers say Nick Newman won't return to Genoa City, prompting the question, is Joshua Morrow leaving Y&R? He is not getting along with Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, on the CBS soap opera. This tension causes fans to wonder if the handsome Newman heir stays away. Nick Newman's relationship in trouble on Young and the Restless. It seems Nick Newman is heading for a breakup with his girlfriend Phyllis Summers on Y&R. He can't engage in a conversation with Phyllis without it turning into an argument. Young and the Restless viewers must wonder how much longer this can go on for the couple. Their trip to Tuscany was an unmitigated disaster. Phyllis tried to be supportive, but Nick was distracted by his family drama. She spent all of her time without her guy. Instead, her ex-husband Jack Abbott, Peter Birdman, was glued to her side. And then sneaky Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, caught the pair in an intimate moment on Young and the Restless. The redhead took a photo of the couple, and you can bet it makes it to Nick's eyes. Of course, the designer goes out of her way to stick it to TGP owner any chance she gets. So, Young and the Restless spoilers hint there are several reasons Nick may need a break from Genoa City as his romance implodes. Is Joshua Morrow leaving Y&R? Nick Newman is a big part of one of the legacy families on Young and the Restless. In fact, Joshua Morrow appeared continually in the role since 1994. Unlike several other actors on the show, Joshua has not taken a break away from his job. So, perhaps that is why viewers are concerned that he is leaving. Young and the Restless updates indicate that the relationship with his family is also in a bad place. His sister Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinl, refuses to forgive him for poking around in her husband's past. He did not attend her wedding because he didn't want to ruin the day. Recently, Nick also had a big argument with his dad Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, on Young and the Restless. He followed his father's suggestion and went to New Jersey to get dirt on groom-to-be Ashlyn Locke Richard Berge. However, he is now somehow that bad guy in the situation. Victor then turned to his youngest son Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, for help in handling sketchy lawyer Jesse Gaines, Jameson James, leaving Nick out in the cold. The mustache won't even share how they dealt with the blackmailer on Young and the Restless. So, this is another reason Nick might not return to GC. Is Nick leaving Young and the Restless? Joshua Morrow exiting. All signs point to Nick Newman not leaving town for good. Joshua Morrow has a long-term contract with the show. But Nick walks away from his issues with Phyllis and his fam and heads to London to spend time with his son Noah Newman, Rory Gibson. However, he tells his girlfriend he'll only be gone a few days, per Young and the Restless spoilers. But will Nick return with a new outlook? If Sally sneaks that pic of his girlfriend with Jack to him, he might come home ready to split with Phyllis. Plus, Nick must address his jealousy over Adam being accepted back into the family on Young and the Restless. Some viewers may worry that this exit means Joshua Morrow is leaving Young and the Restless, and that it means Nick Newman's out at Y&R. Don't stress. This London trip is to set up more drama back in GC upon his comeback, and Soak Dirt will keep you updated. Who's Nick Newman's next love on Young and the Restless? Sharon, Chelsea, or Sally? Young and the Restless spoilers indicate Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, is back on the market after Fick imploded this week. So who's his next love interest? He and Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, just ended their romance on the CBS soap opera. So who will the Newman hair date next? Nick Newman looks at Sharon Newman on Young and the Restless. Nick Newman shares a long and involved history with Sharon Newman, Sharon Case. She is the mother of 2 of his children. Sharon offers support to Nick when he needs a friendly face. The couple was on and off for years. Young and the Restless viewers know there is still a strong connection between them. Now that Nick is single, will he find his way back to Sharon? She is currently married to Ray Roselle's, Jordi Villasuso. However, they argue more than they agree. A breakup of this marriage seems inevitable. So that could pave the way for a chic reunion. After all, Nick Newman increasingly spends time with her on Y&R. When Chic reunited in 2009, viewership for Young and the Restless jumped by 500,000 viewers. But then the soap ripped them apart and put Nick Newman back with recast Phyllis when Stafford returned to the daytime drama. Now, the powers that be could reunite them. Nick recently shared a touching moment with Sharon at Crimson Lights. After he walked out, both looked longingly into space. Thus, Nick could decide to pursue his ex-wife. Recently their son, Noah Newman, Rory Gibson, suggested his father is still in love with his mother. Keep watching to see if the exes tangled again on Young and the Restless. Chelsea Newman returns and reunites with ex-fiance on Y&R. Fans are clamoring as Chelsea Newman's, Melissa Claire Egan, return to Genoa City grows closer. Spoilers hint that Missy will return from maternity leave soon. That's just in time for a renewed romance with Nick. While Chelsea tried to reunite with Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, he turned her down. So, she may approach Nick once again. The couple lived together with their blended family before Adam returned from the dead. However, Chelsea may still be focused on a Chatham reunion. Young and the Restless spoilers point to Chelsea, bringing significant drama when she returns. Young and the Restless could set up a love triangle with Chelsea torn between Nick Newman and his little brother. With a lot of shared history with both men, Chelsea could struggle with where her heart lies. No doubt the rivalry would heat up between the brothers if they compete for the same woman. Young and the Restless updates. Sally Spectra on Nick's radar? A romance wildcard is Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope. Once she learns Nick is available, she might pursue him. Recall, Phyllis is her biggest rival. So revenge could motivate her to hook up with Phyllis' ex. And they've never dated, so this could be a different direction for Young and the Restless. Now, Sally flirts with Adam continually. But every time they get close, he pulls away. His heart's also with Sharon. So that's another roadblock. Soon, Sally may grow tired of this game and set her sights on his half-brother. Young and the Restless history shows Sally prefers rich, well-connected men. So, Sally could be paired with the handsome, oldest Newman son, as Soap Dirt hinted before. If Phyllis rebounds with Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, Nick Newman will be irritated. And he's annoyed with Adam too. So he might see getting with Sally as a way to slap at his ex and his baby bro at the same time. Young and the Restless. Sharon comforts Nick Newman next week. Schick sparks. Young and the Restless weekly spoilers indicate Sharon Newman's Sharon case. There for Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow. His recent split from Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, leaves Nick vulnerable on the CBS soap opera. Also, Phyllis argues with him again as he gets closer to Sharon. Young and the Restless spoilers November 8 to 12. Nick Newman leans on Sharon Newman. Sharon Newman is concerned for Nick Newman. While Sharon is tempted to tell Nick, "I told you so," she holds back. As Nick tries to figure out what went wrong with Phyllis Summers, it's Sharon that offers support. Now, Sharon Newman wants to be a sympathetic ear for Nick Newman, the father of her children on Young and the Restless. Of course, Sharon's someone Nick can lean on in his time of need. Meanwhile, Phyllis has been a thorn in Sharon's side for years. Remember, Nick cheating with Red was why his wedding to Sharon blew up a couple of years ago. Still, Young and the Restless spoilers see Sharon doesn't like to see Nick hurt over this breakup. Now that Nick is single, longtime Schick fans hope for a reunion with his first love Sharon. Even Noah Newman, Rory Gibson, hints his parent could reunite. Sharon Newman shares a deep connection with Nick Newman. There is still chemistry there too. Watch Young and the Restless next week as Sharon listens to Nick's woes. Nick and Phyllis Summers bicker again next week on Y&R. Now that Phyllis ended things with Nick Newman, they must figure out how to interact. Both are still hurting, so a friendship seems out of the question right now. Young and the Restless news hints Nick isn't sure how to behave around Phyllis. Since jumping into bed is not an option, things are awkward between them. They disagree about telling Summer Newman, Hunter King. They broke up on Young and the Restless. Phyllis insists Nick Newman break the news to their daughter. However, Nick Newman disagrees. He pushes Phyllis to have a serious chat with Summer, sparking another argument. Young and the Restless spoilers hint they wrap this talk angry and frustrated. The problems that ended the relationship continue as they work to coexist peacefully as parents. Early, Young and the Restless weekly spoilers. Nick asks Phyllis if she wants her ex. Young and the Restless weekly spoilers show Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, asks Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, if she wants to be with her ex-husband as episodes for August 30, September 3 roll out. While Red wants to blame Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, for this, Nick was already worried about Phyllis and the Factory spark on the CBS soap opera. Here's a few early weekly spoilers. Young and the Restless early weekly spoilers. Nick Newman worries about Phyllis Summers and ex. Sally Spectra continues on her quest for revenge against Phyllis Summers. This time, she tries to cause trouble in her relationship with Nick Newman. The conniving redhead comments to Nick that she saw Phyllis sharing an intimate moment with Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman. He's visibly bothered by the notion on Young and the Restless. But Nick already noticed Jack making comments about Phyllis, knowing him better than anyone. So, he has a deep discussion with Phyllis Summers. He wonders if he was out of the picture, would she reunite with Jack? Phyllis reassures him that she is right where she wants to be, per Young and the Restless spoilers. However, the talk causes Phyllis Summers to rethink her feelings for Jack. While she's currently committed to Nick, things may not be truly over for Fack in the future. When Phyllis learns Sally planted the seed that caused this doubt, she's furious. While Phyllis Summers seemed ready to move on from revenge after ejecting the designer from TGP, it's back on again. Per Young and the Restless news, Phyllis once again sets her sights on Sally. Things will become quite dicey as the Newman media kickoff party. Nick Newman takes her as his plus one, but might regret it. And the bottom line is, Nick already had a side-eye on his gal pal and her ex-hubby before Sally poked him. Young and the Restless week spoilers. Nick and Victoria Newman have it out. Nick Newman does not trust his sister's new fiancé. So, he and his father, Victor Newman, Eric Braden, want to find out if he has any skeletons in his closet before the wedding. However, both men have been quite obvious with their suspicions about Ashlyn Locke, Richard Berge. Next week, things come to a head as Victoria, Amelia Heil, calls her brother out on his continued probing. She tells her brother to butt out of her personal life. Vicky will marry Ashlyn. She doesn't care if no one else supports the union. She is in love and wants to spend whatever time he has left as husband and wife. But she may change her tune if her dad and brother discover something big about the New Yorker, especially if it turns out that Ashlyn is not really dying or plans a coup to take over Newman Enterprises. Watch as Victoria tells Nick off even as he may know important information that could greatly impact her future on Young and the Restless. I&R promises excitement the week of August 30. September 3 as Phyllis Summers revisits her emotions for Jack and Nick Newman as she considers what her heart really wants. Come back tomorrow for detailed weekly spoilers for the CBS daytime drama, Young and the Restless. Nick Newman needs a love interest. Who should it be? Young and the Restless has Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, single and desperately needing to mingle since he seems terribly grumpy heading into Christmas. But there is one woman he's spending time with, another ex returning to town, and a new babe in the mix that might catch his eye. Who will the hunk ring in the new year with for 2021 on the CBS soap? Nick Newman struggling on Young and the Restless. Nick's life is messy right now. He is in the middle of a feud with his family. He and Victoria Newman, Amelia Heil, are barely on speaking terms. He's also on the outs with his father, Victor Newman, Eric Braden. Now, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, tries to get her son and husband to make amends. However, the mustache is not one to apologize, especially if he doesn't believe he's done anything wrong. So Nick feels like such an outcast in his family that he almost didn't go to Chance Chancellor's, Connor Floyd, welcome home party. He worried that his presence would ruin the happy occasion. Young and the Restless viewers can see he is not in a good place right now. Beyond his family troubles, Nick also is lonely. He and Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, just ended their romance. So he is still trying to figure out where things went wrong in the relationship. It seems lately that he winds up confiding to Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, often, but there may be two other ladies to catch his eye. Chelsea Newman back, reconnects with ex on Y&R. With Chelsea Newman returning to town next week, she could find her way back to Nick. Young and the Restless comings and goings reveal Chelsea is back on December 14, and she has her eyes on reconciling with Adam Newman, Mark Grossman. However, he's not interested and usually puts off talking to her, but Nick was crazy about Chelsea, so they may rekindle their romance. Remember, he only broke things off with Chelsea when it became clear she wanted to be back with his little brother. Now, Chelsea's head is on straight, and may realize the other Newman brother provides the stability she needs. He was unhappy when their relationship ended. However, if a reunion with Chelsea isn't possible, he still has other options to pursue. He could return to his ex-wife Sharon, or try something with a new beauty in town. Maybe a certain redhead designer who works for his father and brother. That pairing might be interesting. Will Sharon Newman or Sally Spectra spark with Nick on Young and the Restless? What about Nick Newman getting with Sally Spectra? She might be in the mix for him. Since she hates Phyllis, getting with her ex might be a tasty slice of revenge. Not only that, but since Adam's interested in Sally, he might love to stick it to his little bro too. And knowing that seeing Sally would rub Phyllis the wrong way too might be an added bonus for Nick Newman. So for now, Nick seems at loose ends and lonely on Young and the Restless. But with Sharon's marriage still shaky, Sally on the prowl, and Chelsea returning soon, maybe his 2021 will end with a kiss, starting a new romance. Young and the Restless spoilers. Nick Newman gets stand-alone episode for Christmas. Young and the Restless spoilers show Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, spends Christmas dreaming of his future. He interacts with the significant people in his life on the CBS soap opera. Does he learn something that changes his perspective on this standalone special for the eldest Newman son? Young and the Restless spoilers. Grumpy Nick Newman has a Christmas dream. This week, we'll see Nick Newman dress up as Santa. He delivers Christmas gifts to less fortunate children on Y&R. Then he returns to Crimson Lights and falls asleep in a chair. While snoozing, he has a vivid dream. In it, Nick reviews his life choices. He is unhappy recently. Nick knows he must figure things out. So these dream sequences illustrate what is truly important on Young and the Restless. As the dream progresses, Nick Newman hopes to understand his life and what he needs to do to be happier with his life. Joshua Morrow has been on the CBS soap opera for over 25 years. As a longtime soap actor, he usually doesn't need to rehearse too much before his scenes. However, for this episode, the actor said he had 75+ pages of dialogue. So Josh had to spend a great deal of time and energy preparing for Nick's Christmas Epiphany scenes. Nick learns the importance of family on Y&R. Nick first sees his mother, Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott. She offers her son comfort and guidance. After their visit, Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, arrives on Young and the Restless. They have an awkward encounter, but it does leave him to do some deep thinking. Nick thinks about the role his family plays in his everyday life. He is reeling since his breakup with Phyllis, and since he is on the outs with his sister, he has no one to talk to. Victoria Newman, Amelia Heil, is his best friend. There is a real hole in his heart without Vicky's guidance and support on Young and the Restless. Young and the Restless scoops. Faith and Noah support their dad. However, 2 of his 3 children appear to offer their dad comfort. Look for several sweet scenes with Faith Newman, Ray Lancaster, and Noah Newman, Rory Gibson, and their dad. They help Nick realize the true meaning of Christmas. It's a Wonderful Life. Watch to see. Nick has been adrift lately with no real direction. This is a different side of the character that hasn't been seen before. No doubt, the usually confident man is full of self-doubt on I&R. Soap Dirt readers are anxious to see if this dream helps Nick Newman get his life in order. Young and the Restless spoilers next 2 weeks. Nick Newman tries to do right by Victoria. Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, knows the truth about Victoria Newman's, Amelia Heil, husband per Young and the Restless spoilers. He honors his father's request to allow him to handle the situation on the CBS soap opera. However, Nick wants to tell his sister the truth. Also, Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, searches for answers. Nick Newman faces a tough decision on Y&R. Nick Newman tries to stay away from his family's drama. He is often on the outside looking in. Now he has been asked by his father to join in his plan. Victor Newman, Eric Braden, has the evidence to prove that Ashlyn locks Robert Newman using Victoria. However, he wants Nick to sit back and let him handle Ashlyn. Victor plans to run the businessman out of town. He hopes that Victoria never learns about her husband's betrayal, but Nick isn't sure this is the best plan of action. Nick thinks his sister deserves the truth on Young and the Restless. Even Nick's ex-wife encouraged Nick to come clean with Victoria. Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, knows the dynamics of the Newman family. Nick Newman struggles about what his next step should be. However, someone else could tell Victoria the truth now that the cat is out of the bag. No matter who shares this devastating news with Victoria Newman, she will suffer a broken heart. Victoria Newman could also lose her position as CEO of Newman/Locke. So stay tuned in the next 2 weeks as Nick decides if he will go against Victor Newman. Nick Newman struggles with Ashlyn's offer. Young and the Restless, next week spoilers. Young and the Restless spoilers for May 9 to 13 show Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, faces an ethical dilemma. Should he accept the large amount of money Ashlyn Locke, Robert Newman, has offered on the CBS soap opera? Also, Chelsea Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, remains lost. Young and the Restless spoilers May 9 to 13. Nick Newman unsure of what to do about Ashlyn Locke. To say Nick Newman hates Ashlyn Locke is an understatement. He was forced to sit by and watch Ashlyn single-handedly destroy Victoria Newman's, Amelia Heil, life. He knew in his heart Ashlyn couldn't be trusted. So Nick even boycotted their wedding. However, Nick has supported his sister throughout her ordeal. But now he must make a difficult choice. Ashlyn offers a massive sum of money to Nick Newman's foundation. Hundreds of people would be helped by the donation. However, Nick thinks it is just a ploy by Ashlyn Locke to get back into Victoria's good graces. The Newman heir can be very stubborn. So, he is torn about his next move. If he refuses to accept the donation, Nick Newman thinks he is taking the high moral ground. But is it truly smart to walk away from something that has the potential to help so many people? See Young and the Restless the week of May 9 to 13 to observe what Nick decides to do about Ashlyn Locke's money. Will his conscience allow him to do the right thing? Is Ashlyn genuinely trying to be helpful? Or is it just another move in Ashlyn's sick game of chess? Young and the Restless spoilers. Sharon returns to Nick Newman drama. Young and the Restless spoilers show Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, returns from Miami, and she supports Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, after burying her husband. What is Nick's serious dilemma on the CBS soap opera that requires Sharon's advice? Young and the Restless spoilers. Sharon Newman home after funeral. Sharon Newman agreed to allow Ray Roselle's Jordi Villasuso to be laid to rest in his childhood hometown of Miami, Florida. She wanted to honor his mother's wishes, so she flew there for the funeral. Then, she returns to Genoa City and immediately turns her attention to Maria Copeland's Cameron Grimes wedding to Tessa Porter, Kate Fairbanks. But the pair aren't the only people who need her right now. Nick has been there for her every step of the way since Ray's death. However, now he needs to rely on Sharon Newman. Young and the Restless spoilers, Nick faces a predicament and isn't sure what his next move should be. This could be about the Teraya wedding, or the offer on the table from Ashlyn Locke, Robert Newman. Nick Newman leans on his ex-wife per Y&R News. As Sharon settles in, Nick brings up Ashlyn's generous donation offer to New Hope. Nick Newman's initial instincts are to refuse the money. The CL owner is especially angry at Ashlyn for faking his cancer. She lived through the disease herself. She thinks Ashlyn's a monster, but she offers Nick a different perspective. Sharon Newman knows about all the suffering in GC. So, she encourages Nick to accept the donation. On Young and the Restless, even if Ashlyn is a snake, his contribution will help countless people in their community. Sharon understands all of the emotions Nick is experiencing, but she helps him put his personal feelings aside for the good of the citizens of Genoa City that will be helped. Nick Newman's special bond with his baby mama is quite apparent as they work together to solve his problem. Everyone worries that Sharon Newman's world will come crashing down once the wedding is over, but Nick Newman will remain by her side as he makes a decision about Ashlyn's latest scheming maneuver.